Hey, this is episode number 51 of Gen X Amplified, and today you need to get your popcorn ready because we are going to be talking about winning Emmy Awards and never, ever giving up on your dreams because I am chatting with the one and only Mario Armstrong, two-time Emmy Award winner, entrepreneur, and the creator and host of the Never Settle Show. So, Cam.
Yes, Dad?
You think they're ready?
Yes, I think they're ready.
All right, go ahead and say it.
So, are you ready? Let's do it.
Unapologetically go after your thing. And if you don't see it right now, work harder on the vision, because I'm telling you, as long as you keep moving forward and keep creating action, your biggest thing is right around the corner.
Welcome to Gen X Amplified, where we bring you inspirational and entertaining conversations with successful Gen X leaders and entrepreneurs.
This is the show created just for you. The powerful generation between the boomers and millennials to help you amplify your story,
Maximize your impact,
and become Gen Exceptional in business and in life.
Now, here's your host, Adrion Porter.
Hey everyone, and welcome to another episode of Gen X Amplified. This is the podcast and platform dedicated to amplifying and giving a voice to the often overlooked yet very powerful generation between those brilliant boomers and those magnificent millennials. And as always, thank you so much for listening and subscribing and downloading the podcast. I truly appreciate it as always. So today, I am really excited because I already woke up and now I'm ready to level up because my guest is an entrepreneur, public speaker, and a digital lifestyle expert. And by the way, that is his federal registered trademark, by the way. And check this out. He is a two-time Emmy Award winning talk show host. That's right. Now, you may have seen him on NBC's The Today Show, CNN, Inside Edition, Dr. Oz, Steve Harvey, or Rachael Ray, but that does not compare to him also being the creator and host of The Never Settle Show, for which he recently received that second Emmy Award for that I mentioned earlier. Now, The Never Settle Show is the world's first crowd-produced live stream talk show with live participation from an in-studio and online audience. Now, as a podcaster, his daily new podcast titled Wake Up and Level Up was designed to kickstart your day in under 5 minutes, just like a cup of coffee. So everyone, without any further ado, please welcome my Gen Exceptional guest, Mario Armstrong. Mario, how's it going, brother?
Adrian, thank you so much for having me on, man. Completely psyched by that intro. Appreciate the energy on that too, man. It's always great to kind of hear the body of work that one does. And, you know, it reminds me of the power of reflection. Like too often individuals need to really reflect on the stuff that they've accomplished because you're in the moment, you're going through the process of life, and we are wired. Even neuroscience teaches us that we're wired to know what we haven't accomplished, what's still left to do on that to-do list. You never say, oh, I got, 3 more things left on that to-do list. You're never excited about what's left on the to-do list. You always remember what's there, but not what you've gotten accomplished. And I just think, hearing that just reminds me that everyone should really be doing those reflection moments where you take into consideration where you've come and where you are now and how much you've grown and how much you've learned and how much you still have the energy to continue to go and do your thing. So I appreciate that and appreciate being on the show, man. I've been waiting for this podcast. Yeah, I'm excited for this one.
Well, Mario, first of all, thank you so much, man. I'm honored and I appreciate it. And I'm a fan. I've been a fan for a while. I've been checking you out from afar for a full while because you definitely have been putting in the work for years, which we'll get into. You've been putting out the content. And for me, we have somewhat similar parallel paths a little bit. I mean, we both love the art and the science of personal branding. We both have media background. I've worked at HBO, Turner, Cartoon Network. You have definitely been putting in the work in front of the camera and just really getting it going. And so I appreciate you. I'm inspired by you. And, you're definitely one of my favorites. And speaking of reflection, man, well, actually, before I get into, because I want to walk down your journey, but it's funny at the time of this recording, because when this gets into the earbuds of everybody, maybe like a couple of weeks or so later, but at the time of this recording, we just had, speaking of awards, and you are an Emmy Award winner, we just had the Academy Awards.
Yes. Yep.
And I'm like, I'm bummed, man, because they didn't have a host. And I'm like, now they did all right, but I know a brother in New York who is a sneakerhead that definitely would have been the perfect choice to fill in last night. So what's up, man? They didn't call you, or what happened?
No, they didn't give me a buzz for that particular gig just yet. And once Kevin Hart kind of bowed out of it, I said, you know what? That role has always been traditionally a hard role to fill.
Right. Traditionally
speaking, when you look at, that particular position, it's been tough. But I got to tell you, that awards ceremony with Spike Lee getting really his just due, which is overdue.
Yes.
If you think about it, if you really want to go there, you can go all the way back to Do the Right Thing, or you can fast forward to Malcolm X and many other things in between. But nonetheless, seeing him last night win that award for that best adaptive screenplay, and he runs up on the stage and he jumps up onto Samuel Jackson, who has no choice but to catch him.
I know.
And then he wraps his legs around Samuel Jackson's waist, and Samuel Jackson's just holding him in like complete joy. And then he jumps down. And when I think about it, it couldn't be any better. Like, Samuel Jackson is one of the very first actors that he broke.
I know.
That, you think about that longevity and that consistency and that commitment. And, I just got finished writing up a post about what the Spike Lee win really means.
Yes.
It really means consistency, integrity. The guy's never wavered, whether you like him or don't like him.
Right.
He's never wavered. He's always maintained his integrity.
Right.
And he's always stayed true to the messages that he's trying to put out there. Even when he was going through his script, he was doing that for his awards and his award speech. So it was really great to see a lot of diversity. I tell you that, a lot of inclusion from not only the presenters, but also the awardees. And I think it was finally felt, at least to a large degree, that there was, it felt like America. It just felt like,
it did.
Okay, I'm watching what I see when I walk out of my door, and all the different ethnicities and religions and beliefs and people are here tonight celebrating the film and movie industry.
Yes, it was. And thank you for that context, man. That was very well stated. It's funny. It definitely was a beautiful moment to see, Spike get his just due. And you're right. It's great to see both of those fellas, Sam and Spike, together. Because you're right. He brought, from back in the day, like his, I believe,
Jungle Fever.
Even before, he may not, I don't think he was in She's Gotta Have It, but School Days, like that was Sam Jackson rocking the Jerry curl wig with the fellas during the whole Mission College. And but to your point, Jungle Fever, so many films, Do the Right Thing, when he was the DJ in the window with Ozzie Davis and Ruby Dee. For them to have that type of camaraderie, and to your point, which I think is a great testament, what you mentioned earlier about Spike never wavering, and also it speaks to the power of having a strong personal brand, which I know that you have a strong personal brand, and you're also an advocate of developing brands. Spike's personal brand has been with him since the beginning, and he's never wavered. He's evolved, because there's a difference between wavering from your purpose and your core and your DNA as opposed to evolving, and he's definitely evolved. But Spike as Spike never wavered, and it's great to see finally the fruits of his labor in that form with the statue come to fruition. So, but anyway, speaking of true to form and DNA, man, I would love for you, Mario, to just start off briefly, just kind of walking us through your personal professional journey as a digital lifestyle expert, because you have definitely had the journey. And a lot of people, when they see people run on stage and grab these statues, or hosting, sitting next to Damon John like you have, and on the NBC Today show with Kicking It with Al Roker or CNN, they don't see all the challenges. They don't see the pitfalls. They don't see that.
Nope.
So I think it would be great if you could just, as an inspiration, just kind of not necessarily talk about all the bad stuff, but just give people a sense into your world of how you went from the Mario of the past to the great Mario of the present.
I appreciate that context. And, so many people are going through tons of challenges themselves.
Yes.
And none of us are any different than that. Some of us may have different starts. We may have different support systems. We may not have certain things that others have. But ultimately, every single person that's trying to do something or make an impact or pursue their passion or to get that dream career, they're going through some life challenges in some form or variation. Mm-hmm. The hardest thing that we went through, and I say we because my wife and I are both in business together, so that in and of itself, to still be married, happily married, and running a business and raising a son, is in and of itself just like a tremendous piece of gratitude that I have that we've been able to figure out. It didn't come with its hard knocks. I mean, I remember at one point you talk about, not talking so much about the bad. And I feel like it's very good to talk about the transparency and be comfortable with the adversity, because people learn the most when we were down and out and on our relationship, and it was because of not necessarily, it was because of my drive. Like I was so driven on wanting to accomplish things that I didn't put in the proper systems to create balance. And it's not that she wasn't driven. It's just that we're two different people, and she required and really, honestly, we needed more balance that she was fighting for, and I didn't understand. And I think a lot of people can relate to this relate to a partner or a spouse, maybe not understanding what that other spouse or partner's vision is and why they're willing to sacrifice or work so hard for something. And maybe there's something to gain from understanding what balance really means. And so we would do tactical things like create a vision board together. We would do things where there's no laptops in the bedroom anymore. Like the boardroom doesn't go into the bedroom. That is the sanctuary. We made that the safe haven. So there are things that you can do that I think we've gone through. But you talk about, rubbing some change together. We would I'd have to go to the Weiss markets, or Wise, I guess, depending on who you talk to, and would drop the change into the Coinstar machines. And the reason being is because I had gotten laid off about a year before that point. And I had asked Nicole to leave her job and run what I thought could be our company. At the time, I had been working full-time and was hustling for my passion on the side. So I was doing interviews and radio shows and things in the evening or very early in the morning, and I was doing them for free. So there was a public radio station that I did a talk show for. There was a TV station, ABC2, in the local market back in Baltimore that I did something for, and I would do it for free. And I did that at like 7 a.m., and I did like once a week, and I did the radio thing once a week at like 8 p.m. And so I was hustling for this dream that I thought that I could be someone that could actually communicate, inspire people, give them actionable advice that could make their life better through the interviews of successful people that have done it. And also bridging the gap between not understanding how to use technology and how that can influence and help and assist whatever your passion or challenge is in your life. So I was kind of that bridge of helping you understand how you could use these tools to advance your passions or your pursuits. And during that phase, I got laid off. We felt okay because I had a year's worth of savings built up. We had a big deal with America Online. Yes, I'm calling them the full name because that's what it was back then. This is like 10 years ago. Okay, AOL for you newbies. But I think it was actually AOL at that time. It wasn't America Online. I think it was AOL at the time. And we had a big deal with them, and we had shot some pilots. They loved it. And it was going to be $287,000 contract. And it took us a year to get this deal to work. Get the attorney. We file papers to launch our business. And literally, we sign off and send it back over to them. And they would do signing parties. So we were to drive to Dulles, Virginia, on 95 North, and 95 South, and head to them. On the way, man, you ever have that situation where you got a great deal and then all of a sudden it's crickets?
Oh yes, definitely.
Everybody can relate to this, right? Like you had a great call, or you had an awesome email, or you thought you broke through, and now there's crickets. It's not you. It's not what you didn't do anything wrong, but we all get these crickets. Like, wait, what happened to the momentum? And sure enough, the guy David had been dodging me because I've been calling him. We start driving there. He finally calls me on the day we're driving there to tell me Mario, I couldn't get up the courage to let you know that the deal's not happening. Like, wait, what do you do? We're in the car.
You're in the car.
We're on our way.
Wow.
I'm on the phone. The wife's in the passenger seat. I'm not telling her this. Like, what's going on?
You're on the road. You're on 95.
You know, the jaw drops on the bottom. Wow. You know, just hits the floor, and he's like, yeah, new CEO came in a few days ago and put a lock on everything. Nothing's getting approved.
AOL.
And I was like, man, come on, dude, backdate that joint. Like, come on.
Yeah.
He's like, no, can't do it. And so at that moment, you pull over on the side of the road, you tell your business partner and your spouse what the deal is. Ooh. And that's a long drive back.
Man. Okay, quickly. So take us in that back seat. I'm in the back seat, man. I'm like the moment you hung up, Nicole's there, your business partner, but not just your business partner, your life partner, the person that you encouraged, not told, to leave her job to join you on this journey because of your passion and your belief and your purpose and what you're going to do and this vision. Okay, at that moment, did it test your marriage? Nicole was all in because she would not have said yes, but take us, man, emotionally, like take us there.
And we're smart people. Like, we knew that to not put all of our eggs in one basket. So that's fine. We can take that hit, but still, this was a big deal for her. She's used to consistency. She's used to knowing what's coming in, having that insurance, being able to know the dental benefits are all good to go. Like, she's used to that consistency where I'm used to being a little bit more risk and being able to get knocked down and get back up. I watched my father go through bankruptcy. So I've seen what this can actually do. And when someone applies their, affirmations, visions, and treat people well along the way and have integrity, how it comes out on the other end. And so when this moment hit, though, it was devastating. Like, all that stuff goes out the window in the short term. You're just like, you're completely caught off guard. And so you think you have this runway. We got savings. Okay, no big deal. We'll go back to the drawing board. We'll make some of this work. Well, it wasn't 3 months after that we go into a recession. It's now 2008.
Oh, yes. Yeah. Wow.
And everything dried up. Nobody was calling. No companies weren't hiring for everything from speaking engagements to other stuff that we were doing. And we started, having to really try to figure out how do we pull back so that we can stretch the money as far as we can. Right. And we did like a lot of other people did. And we still didn't. It still wasn't enough. So it did get to the point where it severely tested our relationship. Not that one decision, but the whole thing of pursuing this idea and it not looking like it's going to work out was becoming a really big frustration and a big challenge because we weren't seeing how we were going to dig ourselves out. And I just remember going to parking lots, specifically the Starbucks, knowing I didn't have enough for a cup of coffee. I don't know what she thought. When I said I'm going to go to the Starbucks, she knew I didn't have the money. So I don't know. I just wasn't smart about trying to get away from her. I was trying to get away from her because I didn't want her to see me crying. Because it was that heavy of a burden and just that heavy of a decision that I had made for our family. And I was on shaky ground. I mean, I'm asking my brother for money. Her mother is paying for our groceries. My parents are watching my kid. I mean, fortunately, we had this type of support structure, and other people have had way lower lows. But this was a low for us. Right. You're talking about two people with, she had a 6-figure income, and mine was approaching that, and all of that's gone. 401k gone. Credit cards gone. Because we're entrepreneurs. We couldn't even get jobs if we wanted them because nobody was hiring. Yeah. So you had to make a statement. You had to say, are we or are we not entrepreneurs? Okay, then what are the tenets? What are the practices? When you're down, I can't be down. When I'm down, you can't be down. We had to start coming up with ways that we could fight for each other to fight for the bigger picture and the bigger vision. And then how do we get clear on what the vision really is so that we can really understand what we're going after? And so I think, because of that, it just really fortunately made us stronger, and it gave birth to a whole other thing years later called Never Settle, that we can speak from a legit position of not settling and not giving up.
Yeah, that's a powerful story, man. And I think, which is a great segue to this big, great, rewarding brand of never settling. It sounds like, and I was going to ask you, just thinking about that journey and your partner along that journey, Nicole, I was going to ask you, what did it take for you to, once you got knocked down, what did it take for you to get back up, to remain diligent and to just embrace? Because I was going to ask you, were there times where you pulled up the laptop and went on Indeed.com or and just say, hey, you know what, let me just see what's out there? Or did you said, you know what, like you said, we are entrepreneurs. We're going to fight this through. What were those moments like? And it sounds like one of the biggest lessons and takeaways for me was communication, understanding that you and your business partner, Nicole, who was vested in this journey, made the decision to really understand, are we going to go all in, or are we going to just fold up? And you mentioned understanding the true tenets and lessons of entrepreneurship, which doesn't just evolve changing your bio on your IG to say I'm an entrepreneur and I'm a coach. I'm with images of you kicking it with your bins or money. No, it's the tenets. The tenets of entrepreneurship are the highs and the lows, the sours to the sweet. And it sounds like you guys made that decision to list out and understand, okay, this is what it's going to take. We're going to fight for each other. We're going to communicate, but we're going to go all in. And it sounds like, no, it doesn't sound like it is, that you guys did make it through.
Yeah. And it's, and this is why it's so important to talk about the process, because people need to understand that the pain was real. People need to understand that, Nicole and I understanding not being able to make ends meet is real. Understanding not knowing exactly where your groceries is coming from is real. The idea that, your back is up against the wall and you're willing to do everything you can as long as it doesn't impact your 5-year-old son's life, and that you don't lose the house. Like that's what you're when you get to the point where you're like, how do we not lose the house?
Yeah.
When you get to that point, it is a substantial amount of stress and worry and angst. And if you aren't strong, and even the strongest of strong buckle, everybody has a breaking point. But what I'm saying is the ability for you and your partner or your support system to understand what the end result is, understand what the goal is, and then to find small ways to keep yourself afloat. That's all it was. It wasn't ever once, let's log online and find other jobs. It was, how do we just keep afloat day by day? I mean, we got to the point where we would have to try to treat hour by hour with our approach to the day. It wasn't how do I feel? How did today go? It's how are you feeling right now at 2:00 in the afternoon? Okay, how can I help pick you up? Or if I'm down, how can you help pick me up? Like, it was to the point where you really questioned your ability. Your ability. Look, the gap between where you are and where you want to be, or where you envision yourself, the gap between those two is just smitten with all types of negative feedback loops. That if you allow your self-talk to get to you, that you start counting yourself out before you even give yourself a chance. So I think for us, we just felt like we're not going to let the options define our objectives. And I feel that too many people allow what's being offered to you are the only options that you can have. And I think when you decide to think differently about creating options or combining things that normally shouldn't come together, that creates a new option, that's where you start to see some light. And necessity is the mother of invention. And I'm telling you, innovation. And we just got super creative and just continue to fight and fight and fight. But I'm telling you, it was painful as hell.
Yeah.
And, even now, it just pauses me. And sometimes I actually have to hold back tears because of just how heavy and how I don't feel a lot of people are prepared or given the tools or given the guidance to be able to deal with this, to build up the resiliency that's needed. And so, no, man, it was never a choice. We constantly pushed. We constantly fought for everything that we could fight for, and, selling stuff on eBay to get money in the house. I'm telling you, like, whatever we could do, we were doing it to keep things going and not affect Christopher's life.
Right.
And I think, we also acted as if, and this is a theory that some people subscribe to. There's the fake it till you make it type of theory. And then there's the act as if. The fake it till you make it theory says, I'm going to look like the role, or I'm going to look like the part, but really I'm not doing maybe all the work. I'm just going to kind of fake it till I make it. Act as if is the opposite to me. Act as if is you are acting the role you intend to be in, because you are reading the stuff you're supposed to be reading. You're talking to the people that can give you insight, that can give you advice. You are taking the classes. You're doing the research. Like, when you act as if, it's more than fake it till you make it. You're putting on the clothes. You're learning the vocabulary of your industry. Like, you're really trying to act as if you're already there. So even though we were going through this, I would act as if I was a talk show host. I would act as if I understood how to motivate and inspire people. I would act as if I understood how technology could help people pursue their passions better. So I would dig deeper in study, dig deeper in learning, and dig deeper in rehearsing, and really work on those things, even though we were in these tough times.
Well, it definitely paid off, and it's definitely manifested, because you never settled, and you're no longer acting as if, man. You are as is. And speaking of that, never settle, man. Okay, what was that transformational moment, or what made you guys create this awesome brand, the first Facebook watch show that's won an Emmy, I believe?
Yeah,
I mean, not many people can say that.
Right. No,
not many people can say that.
No, that's a lot.
Yeah. So, all right. So take us to create Never Settle show. How did that start?
So, what's really great about this question that you asked is that no matter where you are, I'm talking to your listeners, no matter where you are right now, I just need you to start. I need you to take action, because I'm going to answer your question with this in the front of it. It is so critical that you do not wait for anything to be perfect. Perfect is creating missed opportunities for you. And, the finish line ruins dreams. Like, seeing the finish line just ruins dreams. And what I mean by that is, if you just don't get in the race, because you're over there practicing, prepping, and you're doing so much prep and practice that it takes you forever to get into the race, because you want to wait for the right conditions, or you want to wait for the right moment, or you want to wait for the right website or the right logo or any of this stuff that doesn't really matter at the end of the day. The reason why I'm saying that is because the Never Settle show, winning an Emmy as the first Facebook watch show to win an Emmy, let me put this in context. The show that we did, we had to do it on the backs of our credit cards. After we came out of debt from 2008, 9 and 10 and 11, all right, dealing with back taxes and all that stuff. When we came out of that, we went to seek sponsorship for the show. We couldn't find several sponsors. We found one, and thank goodness we did, with FedEx Office. But that covered about 60% of the budget. We had to make a decision. Do we still do this thing, or do we stop and just wait another 6 months to try to find more sponsors? And at that point, we made a decision. We were tired of going around shopping the pilot to other places to try to see if they would want to back it. And by the way, I'm on network television at this point. So I got contacts at NBC and other places, and I'm still, they're passing on me left and right. And people were saying things like, there's no more Oprah. Oprah days are over. Nobody wants to take notes. They just want strictly entertainment. And so we're fighting against a curve of reality TV, negative television, TV that's full of conflict and drama. And we're like this, white knight, trying to come in and we're like positive, uplifting, inspirational. And everybody's like, no, that's not happening. And at that moment, we decided, all right, how many credit cards do we have? Okay, we're going to put the balance on these credit cards. So we go back into debt. And then, just so you can understand, and then I'll get to your answer to this question, but just so you can understand, we did our first season in a company's lobby. We didn't have a studio. We didn't have a set. We literally called up several companies and said, hey, we'll feature your product in the show as a trade if you could let us come in every Wednesday and use your lobby as our set.
Wow.
And one of the companies finally said yes, ended up being a great location for us. Canary is the name of the company. And we would roll in every Wednesday. We would build that set up and then break that set down.
Wow.
And I mean, we had a team and a staff and all that, but we're still grinding. I mean, look, man, I had to put this at the end of this first season, which was 6 episodes, myself and 5 others are putting the set into a U-Haul truck that I'm going to drive to a storage facility. Like, it's like that.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Wow.
I need people to understand I'm already on the Today Show. I'm already reaching 5-6 million people. I'm already looking clean. I'm on CNN. I'm on NPR. I'm on Sirius XM with my own daily talk show. And this is what I'm having to do. So you can get caught up in your ego and your self-pride and all these things. And all I'm trying to say is start, because the spark, to answer your question, for Never Settle wasn't any one thing. It's because we got started with other small things that led to it. So the short answer to your question is one summer we were sitting back and it was myself, Shy, Nicole, I don't know if Lainey was with us at the time. And we came up with this idea like, man, we're doing so good right now. Let's give back. Let's do a 6-week Never Settle club where we teach people meditation, inspiration, visualization, but also the techniques that Nicole and I have been able to do to make it. And we're going to do it for free. And we were just doing this once a week. Live. I made curriculum. The team and I, we put together curriculum. Because what happened was right before that, I put out a tweet and I said something in Twitter and then I hashtagged it Never Settle. And I got a ton of people like, yeah, Never Settle. I don't even think they even read what I tweeted. They was like, Never Settle, never. And I realized, wait, there's something that just clicked right there. So there's this tweet that happens and we're like, And then we're like, you know what? Let's try this thing called the Never Settle Club, where we invite people to a Facebook group and we're going to teach them for free for 6 weeks. Call it a boot camp. And the club works. We're like, dang, we did the club so well, AT&T sponsored the next 6 weeks. So we were like, wait, we should turn the club into a show. Like, that's our show. We've been thinking about this talk show. We've been thinking about how can we do the next Oprah, not trying to be her, but like fill that void of powerful television that can communicate takeaways that can actually impact your life. That was the dream. And we couldn't figure out what the format was going to be other than we knew it was a talk show. And so when we did the Never Settle Club is really when we realized, oh, we're on to something. We're actually selling clothing. People are buying the Never Settle clothes. They're loving the group. We need to turn this into the show. But had we never started the curriculum, even though it wasn't perfect, we wouldn't have done it. If we never did the club, even though it wasn't perfect, we would have never been here. And if we would have never decided to go back into debt and take our show into some company's lobby because it wasn't perfect, we would never be here.
Yeah, well, that's why, thinking about the brand of the show, Never Settle, it embodies, man, the journey that it took for you and Nicole to get it to that point. And it's amazing. Like, there's so many lessons in that story. I mean, first of all, it's a great show. It's very innovative. I mentioned in the intro that the show is the first crowd produced live stream show with participation from in-studio online audiences. It has, Oprah is the godmother of the format, but you've taken it to another level in the 21st century that is very interactive, and you were rewarded for it, obviously, with the Emmy. And so you guys, it started off, I mentioned lessons. It started off with an idea. It started off with listening to your audience. It started off with looking at empirical activity. Hashtag turned into a lot of likes or retweets or just people embracing it, which turned into, let's put together a collective group of people in a club, which turned into fanfare in that club. You and Nicole sat down and said, well, let's translate that and let's keep going. Let's evolve it into a bigger brand, a show. Because me, Mario, I have experience in this platform. I have experience in being in front of the camera. I understand how to transition, how to ignite a crowd. I can look good on camera. I can wear my new sneakers every day. I can, I have it. So you recognize the power of your brand. You recognize not only the power of your DNA, but you recognize the opportunity, the pulse of what was going on based on how the brand and the name was being reactive from your audience, and you jumped on it. And I was going to say, what type of lessons, especially for people in our generation, a lot of people in this audience, and we have millennials listening in, we have boomers, but people that are feeling stuck in that mid phase in their 40s who are looking to create something, or maybe just to be more recognized in their job, whatever it is, during this pivoting phase in your life. Many of us have ideas. Many of us have thoughts and dreams that we want to act on, but we fail to keep going. We fail to start. And I was going to ask you, because one of the things I always ask on this show is like, what lessons would you give specifically to people in this generation that are in a very pivotal point in their career? What lessons would you give them to become unstuck? And you've outlined in the journey and the story of Never Settle many lessons that I took personally. And you really have an empowering story. And I would say that the show now, it's a beast. I come from the media television world myself, and I understand the production hurdles and what it takes to create a show. People sit down in their television, or actually in this case on their phones or their smartphones or tablets, and they're watching these great assets. Man, they don't know that you need 2-3 cameras, you need a staff, you need producers, you need script writers, you need audiences. Man, it's a beast. So people don't see that part. So for you, for you and your crew of exceptional people that help put this together, to get it going, to start off, man, we're going to go in the lobby. We're going to nurture our relationships. It is an amazing testimony, man. I just wanted to add that context, because I think it's important for people, and it was important for you to walk through that journey and now to see it be rewarded, man. I'm so proud of you, and I'm really inspired. And I think the big lesson for this, like you said, is understand that the finish line ruins dreams, and you have to keep going. You have to keep going. You have to never settle.
Yeah, I appreciate that. And I think, it really requires, your vision requires tenacity, and you have to really see it. You have to believe that it's doable. And I think one of the things that's really important, if you're going through tough moments or trying to get to that next level, find something about your passion or that thing that you're trying to accomplish that really gets you fired up. It could be maybe even negative energy that you want to flip into a positive. For us, it was me watching so much TV start to feel like fast food was everywhere, and that no one was sitting down to have a good meal. Nobody was getting the right ingredients or the right nutrients. And I'm not end all to be all. I'm not saying that I'm the savior and I have the best plate that's going to give you the best meal, but I'm going to say I'm going to give you something better than what that drive-through is giving you. And so when we were equating the pain in our business, we were looking at, man, so many networks, so many producers, so many people are feeding this reality show beast, and it's like bad for you. Mm-hmm. None of this stuff is good. You can call it entertainment all you want, but we're sitting here watching women smack each other, and we think that that's something to watch. Right. Or people are throwing drinks on each other, and can you believe they did that? And then you start to say, what's the bigger problem with culture? Are we that upset at our own lives? Are we that unhappy in our own lives that we need to watch some of this misery in order to feel better? And so, there was one scene I can't remember the name of the show right now, which I think it was Tiny Tots or something. It was the Little League football show that was on, I think it was Spike. I think it was Spike TV at the time. Okay. And it was about Little League footballers. And there was this one scene where the coach has the team on the bleachers, and they're having just some nonsensical conversation, and they're just talking. And then one of the other kids says something about, I'm not into that. I'm into girls or something like that. These kids are like middle school, if that. They're like middle school. And one of the other kids says, well, I'm all about my books. And then the coach goes, listen to this one here. This one right here, he's all about his books. What you mean? You ain't into girls, man? You're not into girls? What's wrong with you, man? What you mean you're not into girls? He starts like literally berating this kid in front of his peers about his choice of books and academics were more important in middle school than it was for him to chase girls. And it was scenes like that I would see that would just fire me up. So what I'm saying is find something that fires you up, because part of what we wanted to do was go against the grain and offer the world another choice. And when you do that, you feel like David versus Goliath. And when you feel like David versus Goliath, you get your ass up and fight.
Wow. Love it. Love it. Love it. Find something that fires you up, man. That's a great lesson. And, speaking of firing you up, there's one last question that I want to ask you before we wrap up, because, man, we could have literally, you and I, we can have a 2-hour, 3-hour conversation, because there's so many great nuggets. But I got to ask this question because knowing you, I can't wait to hear this answer. So, Mario, if there was a song that would play every time you enter a room or walk down the street that perfectly fits your story and the brand of Mario Armstrong, what song would that be? Basically, what would be your own personal theme song?
Man, the reason why I can answer this one really fast too is because I've updated my Mario motivation playlist.
Okay.
Recently.
Cool.
On Tidal. And there's really 2 songs. My first one would have to be Gonna Fly Now. This is done by Bill Conti. You may not know either one of those 2 things.
I know,
but it's the Rocky theme song.
I have a Bill Conti Rocky playlist on my phone.
Oh, is that right? Oh,
dude, I'm a huge Rocky fan. Reflections. I like the second. Seriously, we'll talk afterwards. I'm a huge Rocky fan.
Absolutely. If you're Bill Conti, man, you got it. So Gonna Fly Now.
Love it.
I mean, Eye of the Tiger is close, but Gonna Fly Now, that was when Rocky was on his comeback.
Yes.
And, that scene where, if you remember the movie, and he's racing Apollo Creed on the beach.
Yes.
And Apollo Creed is kicking his butt. And he's doing everything he can to desperately catch up to Apollo. And he starts inching up and inching up and inching up. And he passes him to the point where they're so excited they're jumping around like kids in the water with their covers on. Jumping. And it's that sense of, I can do it. I can be resilient. I will make it. So Gonna Fly Now is the way I would love for people to walk into. Now, on the hip hop side of me,
okay,
the other song would be Jay-Z's got a song that's called You Don't Know. You Don't Know, many people may not know, but You Don't Know is basically a song about how he was basically counted out and how he had to go independent because labels told him no. And how he had to go independent and how he had to prove himself to others. And so You Don't Know is like, yes, I do know, but you don't know. So those 2 songs are probably my 2 that I would walk in and out of a room with. Man,
those are some awesome choices. Yeah, that Jay-Z song definitely is a winner. And I can definitely tell it perfectly captures your journey. And for those who have been counted out, man, it is a great song. And then obviously I'm a huge Rocky fan. I have all the DVD, the Blu-rays. I have the box set. I'm a huge music buff, and
like the box gift set, platinum premium.
Dude, I'm a huge Rocky and love Bill Conti, and I love the soundtrack. I remember that scene. Like, what's great is that they use that song for all the different Rockies when he's at the end. Where there's racing up the steps, or he's with the kids in Rocky 2 and in Rocky 3, Apollo and Rocky, and got the water, got the little skimp shorts back in the 80s. Right. It's the funny with the tube socks with the stripes on it, but you're right. It's like you see that moment when he transitions into the Rocky that finally beats Clubber Lang in Rocky 3. When you see that moment when he gets it inside of him and he passes Apollo, it's like, if that doesn't motivate you, if that doesn't make you wake up and level up, if that doesn't make you understand that you should never settle, I don't know what song is. So kudos to Bill Conti.
And look, man, you're so right. And one other little thing about this too is many people may not, and if you don't know, you should go research this, but they may not even know the Sylvester Stallone story. And so the other reason why I really listened to that song and want that song to be the song I entered the room, because Rocky was a fictional character of Sylvester Stallone, and Sylvester Stallone was counted out. Sylvester Stallone did not have a movie production background. He spoke funny, and people didn't, his slur was real, and he didn't write well, and people count. I mean, this is his character, right. Like, he came up with this idea. He wrote this screenplay. Yeah. Like, a lot of people don't just get all of how much work people put into the process of their craft. And I feel like, your interviews help people to really understand that your opportunity, your gift is your talent. We need your talent to be exposed. If you aren't exposing your talent, you're doing the world a disservice. So look at it as, I need to let my talent, let my thing go, and not worry about getting validation from anyone, making someone feel good. Like, unapologetically go after your thing with good integrity and good morals, but unapologetically go after your thing. And if you don't see it right now, work harder on the vision, because I'm telling you, as long as you keep moving forward and keep creating action, your biggest thing is right around the corner, but you can't see it yet. I feel like we're just getting started and we have 2 Emmys. You understand what I'm saying? Like, I'm nowhere near, and that's not just me just talking hype or me just feeling good. I mean, we still have some struggles over here. We still have some challenges. I mean, you would think with 2 Emmys in, it's a no-brainer that we would have another season and it's all going to be gravy. The truth is, I'm out here fighting for sponsorship right now. So this isn't, I'm not on easy street,
right.
Unless I wanted to live a complacent life, and complacency breeds regret, and nobody wants that at their later stages.
Right.
So,
well, I have true confidence in you, man, that, the sponsorships will flow and you're going to get it. You're going to get it in. But I appreciate the words.
Please
of
do,
advice.
man. It's $30,000 an episode to do what we do.
Yeah, that's not.
You know what I'm saying?
That's
it's not
cheap.
and that's less than what a lot of people charge for episodes in our business right now. But it's $30,000 to $40,000 an episode. That's one episode.
Wow. See, it takes a lot. It takes a lot, guys. It takes a lot. Mario, this has been awesome, man. You are definitely, you never settle. You are a fighter. Your story is awesome. It's inspirational. As Rocky would say, you're Adrian. You gotta fight. You gotta fight, Mickey. But let everyone know the best way they can keep in touch with you, and especially the Never Settle brand.
Oh, I appreciate that. We do have that great podcast, which I think is,
yes,
I'm saying great because people say it's great, but I also enjoy it because I do feel like we are giving people 4 minutes every day. It's a quick podcast. You can get in and out. You can binge it. So I would love for people to go to Wake Up and Level Up and subscribe to that. Leave us a comment or DM me on Instagram if you have a favorite topic that you want us to hit up. But Wake Up and Level Up for the podcast. Definitely follow me on Instagram at Mario Armstrong. I do a lot of inspiration and mentorship for free on IG. I do it in the DMs as well as through the content that I put up. And I have a couple of mastermind groups that are there for free that I also do. So follow me on Instagram and DM me if you need any advice or insight. And then the last piece I would say is we do have a free reflection action plan is what we call it. It's a 90-day plan that is a goals worksheet that if you go to marioarmstrong.com/goals, it's marioarmstrong.com/goals, you can download it for free. This is a real plan. So if you want to double check, do you have enough vision? Do you have enough clarity? Do you know the next steps? Do you know the potholes? A lot of people can plan and see the vision. They don't plan for the obstacles. So even in our worksheet, we teach you how to plan for the obstacles and how to be on the lookout for those potholes that you may not see yet. So if that could be helpful, go to marioarmstrong.com/goals and download that.
Everybody, we're going to have all the links to those sites on the show notes. In the show notes, definitely check it out. Mario, this is great, man. This has been inspirational. You are doing your thing. And everyone that's listening, you got to stop eating the fast food. Come get some good meal. Get some nourishment. Go to watch some Never Settle. Listen to some Wake Up and Level Up. Start your day in the morning, 5 minutes, just like Rocky with those eggs, raw eggs in the glass every morning.
Home in the blender. Let's go.
Turn on your podcast app, Spotify, Stitcher, wherever you can find it anywhere. Listen to some Wake Up and Level Up and go out there and beat Apollo on the beach.
Yeah, all right? Look, man, you got to, like you say, give people that extraordinary value and Gen X amplified, like should be a part of that daily diet of amplifying your opportunities and really helping you be the best human that you could possibly be.
Like you, man. Mario, it's been great. Thank you for spending time with me and our Gen X amplified audience.
Appreciate it, man. I got to come back. Please have me back at some time. And we got to do something for you on the show. Maybe we'll give you a shout out once we get to the next season cooking. Remind me that I said that.
Oh, man, I definitely will. Thank you. Yes. That was Mario Armstrong, creator and host of The Never Settle Show, digital lifestyle expert, podcaster, and host of the Wake Up and Level Up Show, entrepreneur, and Rocky fan. Hey, I always love meeting my fellow Rocky fans. Love it. But great chat, great conversation with so many valuable nuggets, right? I mean, come on, so many valuable nuggets, especially for those who are looking to launch something, to maintain something, to keep going, keep striving, keep moving. Remember, never, ever settle. So make sure you check out his daily under 5-minute podcast, Wake Up and Level Up, and also check out the Never Settle Show. And so for all the show notes and for the links that he mentioned in this episode, go over to genxamplified.com to get the show notes, and also check out our past episodes that you may not have listened to so you can get caught up. And you can also find Gen X Amplified on your favorite podcast app like Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Stitcher, TuneIn, or wherever you listen to podcasts. And if you have enjoyed this show, this episode, and all of our other shows, please give us a good rating and review on iTunes. I truly appreciate it. And again, you've been listening to Gen X Amplified, the podcast dedicated to you, the powerful and exceptional generation between those brilliant boomers and magnificent millennials. Remember, it's more than a podcast. It is a movement. Take care.